All right, so focusing this week on getting you used to the downward pick slanting orientation. So basically making sure that you're palm muting. Well, yeah, you're palm muting everything here. Really make sure you're using the side of your hand here. Don't use anywhere in here. Because if you do that, you'll palm mute, but you're still going to be kind of in that upward slant, and you're not going to get the best palm mute sound anyway. So you're going to think of it like you're cupping some water, and then stick that hand on there. So, side of the hand. Side of the hand is doing all the muting. Don't use the inside of the hand. Got to be the side of the hand. I mean, it'll kind of creep in to start going towards the inside there, but you don't want to use anything in here to do it. Keep it on the side of the hand as much as you can. That'll keep you in that downward slant. So, what did we talk about? The high volume method, where if you find like after a few days things aren't going so well, you can do, and the ebook is called the Cheers method, so you can look that up if you'd like and read about it again, or read about it after I talk about it. But man, basically, let's say, I mean honestly, if you can't get this thing to 120 on day one, then definitely need to go back down to eighth notes. So that's pretty much how I view anything like 16th note wise. Like if you can't play a 16th note pattern at 120 on day one, it's too fast. You need to work on eighth notes instead. Work that up until you hit 240 with the eighth notes, 60 to 240, and then you'll be more prepared to work on 16th notes instead. So I always take these steps for all my stuff, even though I may not want to. I don't like the idea of having to do eighth notes instead of 16s on something. I understand that I'm going to progress way faster by doing the slower subdivision and going through all those steps instead of beating away at the 16th notes instead. So, I mean, that could even be something you try this week anyway. Is, you know what, maybe just do eighth notes for this and get that to 240 instead of even seeing if you can get to 120 right away. Try that, see if how that plays out. But anyway, so let's say you get to like 140 on this exercise and you can't get any faster after a few days, or barely creeping up. So you can just play like at 100 or 120 beats a minute, basically at a speed that's close to your max, but still well within your control. So basically you're pushing yourself, but not so much that it's taking a lot of brain power and not a lot of hand energy. So you try and play the entire duration of whatever show you put on, and you're going to have moments where you'll need to take like a minute or two in between some stuff, shake your hand out and all that, and then maybe like go from 100 up to like 110, so you can increase the speed a little bit for that stuff. Basically that high volume approach where you're just drilling the hell out of something, where you're like close to the speed where you fall apart, but not quite. So basically taking your base level of what's comfortable and really raising that up. Another thing you can do is go up by 1 beat per minute increments. You can also do like a hybrid, so maybe work up from 60 to 100, going up by 5s, and then from there you go up by 1s. So check out plateau breaking ideas in that ebook and see if anything stands out to you that you really like. So let's do some demo speeds with this guy. So 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. And even that last note, make sure that's palm muted too. Let's do 100 next. 1, 2, 3, 4. 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 140. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 180. 1, 2, So like this kind of exercise is basically with just the start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. It can allow you to hit higher speeds, and the stopping on every other beat to kind of help make sure that you're landing in the right position with your pick and keeping everything oriented correctly. And yeah, it's like trying to make sure that your thumb's not doing the like starting in the bent position and then going straight like that. We don't want the pick to curve that way. We want the pick to keep curving this way, along with how the wrist would be strumming. So maybe just practice trying to get the thumb used to going the other way. You start with the thumb straight, and then when you bend it, it picks down and goes straight, comes up. Bend it down for down, straighten it up for the up. So this way it's still going down towards the bridge and not down towards the neck. The other thing you can do, I think I showed you, was you take your fist, put your thumb over the top like that, and that's basically mimicking the motion right there. So you can be like, at least with the low E string, you can kind of pick with the side of your thumb like that. Feels funny. But that's basically the motion you make there. And then I can go back to using the pick that way. But yeah, like I use a little bit of that motion on a lot of the things that I'm playing. Right there is where you use the wrist. And if that seems too weird to get the thumb to behave, yeah, just try and keep it lock it up and keep it from moving. Because when you go really fast, you're not really going to be using much thumb anyway. There's going to be a lot of wrist and arm or forearm and whatnot. Especially in this position, when you're doing, I find that when I'm doing palm muty stuff, it's like the arm, you see that, the arm's kind of doing this, kind of rotating this way, and it's not really just the wrist moving. It's kind of awkward to just move the wrist just up and down like that, side to side this way. A lot of times the wrist is always being helped out by the forearm kind of turning this way or turning that looks very inappropriate, doesn't it? But basically just kind of doing it like that, so the forearm's like always doing some kind of rotational thing to help the wrist move. That's how it feels to me anyway. So let's go through this guy. Let's do the same demo speeds. Alright, 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds wimpier and wimpier in the palm mute department as you get higher and higher. In other words, less and less bass. Alright, let's do 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. One thing I'm also doing, you might want to try this too, is extend your pinky and have it lay across all the strings there, to really make sure that you're in that downward slant and everything is very well muted. Because if you have your, like right now, I think you have the habit of like almost having a fist. See how it helps you to have your pinky sticking out like this and laying it across all 6 strings. Alright, 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. triplet 1. Okay, just more downward pick slanting work. And let's do some demo speed with this too. Starting at 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. Adjust your hand a little bit where it's positioned so you can mute the G and the D, the D and the G string properly. So you can't just leave it in the same place you were when you started on the E string. It's got to go up a little bit and then come back down. Alright, double it up. 120. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $160. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The 240's another speed goal there. So you get the 240 with 8th note picking, or 8th note triplets. Then you can work on 16th note triplets, or 6-tuplets, whatever you want to call them. Okay, I think that covers everything we talked about. So try and help keep getting used to the downward pick slanting orientation and get you more comfortable with that. So this way, when you do stuff where you are leaving the string after an upstroke, it doesn't trip you up so much anymore. And yeah, again with the thumb, you asked like, how do I really fix it? It's just a matter of you gotta, when you're playing slow, gotta pay close attention to it. And then once it starts to creep in, do the best you can to correct it. And it's just a theory that, could it be one of the issues that's preventing you from going where you want to? Possibly it did. Like I mentioned with those two students, I believe that was, part of the issue for them. Unfortunately, I didn't notice it with the first guy. It's such a weird little discovery there. It's just like, holy crap. So now I'm aware of it, and hopefully I can help prevent it from ruining picking accuracy for other people. And I mentioned that like some people, they can get pretty proficient with that style of picking where you're bent, the picking down towards the neck. I'm not a fan of it. It's like, why practice having the pick go one direction when your wrist is always going to go the other? I mean, we can't pick like this. I mean, I guess we could, but that'd be really awkward strumming this way, Anyway, I think this has gone on long enough. So, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you again next week.